You're listening to QCast, presented by Qcella Media. Please consider giving generously to Qcella's nonprofit mission. To find out more about our mission and to make a donation, visit our website at qcast.qcella.org. Your tax-deductible donation will help us continue bringing you quality podcasts just like this one.
I may be bruised, but I'm not broken. You can't take away my soul. You tried to tell me I don't count, but I know in my heart that's not true. So you cannot take me down that path. I'll make it without you. I may be bruised, but I'm not broken. My life counts for something, and you wake up and I'll be gone. You'll know that you were wrong.
Welcome to my show, Shades of Gender. I'm your host, Terry Ryan. Each week, we're going to be talking about gender identity, including transgender cross-dressers, gender fluid, and non-binary gender individuals who self-identify with these groups. The definitions of these communities are often misused and certainly misunderstood. Our goal is to identify these groups, listen to their stories and their journeys in life to get a better understanding of who they are and how they're doing. And there are many, many different acronyms and definitions for people that are dealing with gender. So today, we are very happy to have someone that I have on phone, and she's down in South Carolina, and her name is Louise Carole Sumrell. And hi, Louise.
Oh, hi, Terry. How are you?
I am great. I thank you for being on the show and accommodating your schedule. I know it's kind of late there. It's almost 10 o'clock, so...
Oh, it's fine. I'm a night owl anyway.
Oh, you are. You're one of those, right? Yeah, it's just starting now. Yeah, that's good. So, I want to, I like to start the show, of course, on, since it's a radio show, on, and not being able to see you, before we get into your story, of how you identify in the gender scale, so our audience knows, who you are and how you self-identify.
Well, I was born in 1958. Not shy about my age. And there was only the gender binary back then. So as far as I knew as a child, I was a girl. I mean, everybody told me I was a boy, but I knew I was a girl. There was no concept of a sliding scale back then. I don't think the Kinseys had even done their research yet.
Right. So you were born, you were physically born a boy, but self-identified from an early age as a girl.
Oh, yeah, privately in my own head.
Right, and this is 1961 or whatever when your brain kicks in.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't have any, it was male, female, that was, prior to the rainbow, we weren't even talking about being gay. No one talked about anything.
Before.
Right. So, this is something that I've heard some of my transgender people, women mostly, talk about identifying early on as a girl and always self-identifying as a girl. And that's got to be something, and it maybe, share with us, like early on, when you're a child, I guess you're just trying to live life and you're, everything is new and you're experiencing it. So is that how it was for you? It's kind of like, maybe someone said, oh, that's your little boy, but, did you look more feminine, would you say too? As a boy, feminine boy, or,
I didn't look feminine. But I behaved that way. I don't know. I can remember one time, I suppose it was Christmas, must have been, that my sisters opened up their packages, and I don't think they even had Barbie dolls back then. There were some kind of, we called them baby dolls then. Mm-hmm. And I started opening my package expecting to get one too. And it was a G.I. Joe. And, oh my God, as as only a 4 or 5-year-old can do, I was just crestfallen and just, my
You're
face
crying
felt
because you got a G.I.
crying.
Joe doll instead of your,
Yeah.
And they didn't, so this is in front of your parents, I take it, and,
Yeah.
they didn't know, they didn't understand why you would be crying over a G.I. Joe doll, right?
Well, I don't really know how much they knew or thought about it. I'm 61 now. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, so they probably
But,
thought you were just acting out as a child and you were tired or something wasn't right. I mean, the last thing in the world they would have thought about is you self-identified, as...
No, because I remember them telling me. I can remember it like distorted, grown-up faces with lots of teeth smiling, saying, "No, you're a boy. You're a boy. We talked about that."
Oh.
And that's the first thing I remember.
And your dad, that's really is fascinating. So, I mean, it's like knowing your own child. I mean, knowing there's something different. And your dad was
Yeah.
in the military, right? Wasn't he, he was in the Navy or
No.
Army?
Well, he was in the Navy.
Yeah.
He was in the Navy in World War II, but he was in the Army at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a criminal investigative division detective sort of guy, and he was hardcore. He wasn't abusive to us, but he was strict, and what he said went.
Right. So it's really a lot of a very masculine, I guess a manly man, as for lack of a better word. Did you have brothers and sisters, or was it just you?
I had 3 older sisters.
Wow.
And then my dad died when I was 8. That was 1966.
Oh, I'm
and we moved back to North Carolina, and I was raised by my, single mother and 3 older sisters, and they didn't really know what to do with me.
You were the baby then, right?
Man.
You're the youngest?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you're the baby. 3 older sisters. Were you close in age? I mean, a couple years apart, or was it a big difference?
Let's see. Rebecca's 4 years older than me. Rachel's 5 years older than me. And Marietta was 15 years older.
Oh, so she was almost like a second mom, huh? She was almost out of the house by the time you grew up.
Well, she wasn't there my whole childhood. She got married when she was 19 and to an Army guy.
Oh, so no surprise, right? It kind of stays in. Are they still around, your sisters? Are they still alive?
Well, Mary passed away several years ago, and my older sisters are still around. They live at Kill Devil Hills, I think, down at the beach.
At the beach. Well, it's not a bad place to live. Did your sisters that were closer in age to you, you had one that was 4 years older and one that was 5 years older, did they suspect, did they, you think, suspect that you self-identified more with, at least at that point, with, things that girls
definitely.
did? Yeah, so they saw it, right?
Yeah, but they weren't encouraging. They were hateful about it.
Well, you're the only boy in the family, too, in a military family. So, I mean, it would be like, right? I mean, like the kind of pressure. The pressure to have a son.
Jealous.
Exactly, right. So, that was like the hope to have, your dad, I guess, to have his son. And to kind of carry on his tradition. So did you dress up as you liked your dolls? Did you like clothes too? I mean, did you go into your sister's stuff and dress as a girl?
I did that all my life.
Yeah, since you were
through my childhood.
So, like when you were young, right? You just felt like that's what you should be wearing, right?
Yeah, of course.
So you went in and did your sisters catch you, or your mom catch you, or your dad, or anyone in the family?
Well, no. I'm sure that they must have noticed. But I was very careful, and I never got, walked in on an aha moment.
Right.
Because I at some point in my childhood, I heard my mother talking about gay people or something about gay people.
Uh-huh.
And although she was a sweet and kind person, generally, she said, well, they're just horrible scum of the earth. They're twisted and nasty and evil. And
Gay people were.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Anybody other than
straight.
anybody other than cis hetero.
Yes, cisgender was gay. That was the terminology you had, right? So if you weren't straight, then you were gay, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Well,
that was what we had back in 1960. So there wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
well,
nobody even
acronyms.
said gay then. I mean, it was
Yes.
more pejorative adjectives and names.
Right. So this was interesting. So when your dad, you were the last in the family, and your dad passed away, and you're with your mom and your siblings. Your mom then had to go back to work. Was she working, or what was that like for
Oh
you?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, she went back to college at 45 and got a master's degree, and she was a librarian.
Wow.
And
I mean, because that's a lot. She left your dad, your kid. They're 13 and like 4 or 5 years. So maybe if you were 8, so like 12, 13, and of course your elder sister was already out of the house. But that's a lot. A lot for your mom. So, did you ever, so on your journey? So here you are. You're in a smaller town, and you were then in.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. So you're in the North Carolina. You're down southeast. You are, did you purge then, like on the dresses and stuff, and say, okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to live my life as a girl? It's
I must have done that. I don't know. 24 times.
Yeah, that's so common, and I mean, it's just like there's no place for it, right? So it's like it's who I am, but I'm gonna have to throw this all away and try to like not be that person that's in there, and I'm gonna outgrow it.
Yeah.
So
it seems impossible.
Yeah.
I hated myself for even feeling that, and
the guilt. Not being able to talk about it.
Oh yeah, guilt, and shame. Oh,
and no
Lord.
one, and no role models really. I mean, Renee Richards is back there, I guess, but there wasn't a whole lot out there, right?
I read about her somewhere. I read about
you joined
Christine Jorgensen.
Christine Jorgensen, that's right. Yeah, we should. Yeah, that's a big one. So, did you? So then you decided, okay, I'm going to join. You told me a story when we had a private conversation. You joined then the Navy, and got shipped out to San Diego, right?
Oh yeah, that was years later. But I developed a bad alcohol and drug habit early in my teens.
Oh, so you already started you started drinking to kind of deal with your feelings and being confined early on. Does addiction run in your family?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that is an addict in your family, an alcoholic or a drug addict?
I had some great uncles that were alcoholics.
It does track in families, alcoholism. But I guess then before you did join, so you're drinking early, you make it through high school. How was your dating life like? Were you dating? Were you hanging out?
No, I really never dated.
Mm-hmm.
I was attracted to men. I didn't particularly care much for women because my sisters had been so hateful to me.
Yeah.
I was mixed up in the drug and alcohol crowd. We called ourselves heads back then.
Heads. Boy, that sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, like the
stoners or something, right? The stoners, like the marijuana, you're smoking cigarettes and smoking weed, right? Back then?
Oh, yeah.
That's between weed became, till now it's almost like crack. It's so strong. But that's when you could actually have a couple hits and not die.
Well, that's what I hear anyway.
Yeah, it's gotten really strong. But so you were doing that, and then you're kind of hanging out, and then you're ahead, and so you're blending in. That's where you could blend in as a group because you were just kind of stoned out. That was a way to kind of not have to identify as a male or female. You're just a stoner.
Right.
Ahead, right.
And I could have long hair too.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, no one really cared, right? I mean, they weren't evaluating you on your gender. It's the 70s.
Yeah.
So that kind of, then you entered the military to go to college, or you needed to get away from your town, or why, you needed to do something in your life?
No, I pretty much drank my way out of all the best colleges and universities in North Carolina. And then I decided at some point, when I was about 25, that I was still trying to, quote unquote, be a man. Mm-hmm. And I decided I needed to get a wife.
Oh.
I mean, when I was a teenager, there were a few different girls, but basically at a party or a football game, they would take me by the hand and just lead me away. They basically hit on me and, seduced me.
Yes.
I was a barefoot water skier, did slalom barefoot. And
so quite athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen your male. I think you did send me one on your ski. You were, quite cute, great, great shape.
Yeah. That was barefooting.
Yeah, that was quite cool. It's a great shot. I mean, that's barefoot water skiing. I could barely do regular water skiing without killing myself, but I'm impressed. So you were pretty athletic. I mean, it sounds like you were struggling to try to figure out who you were, right? I mean, who am I?
I wasn't. We lived on the river, Pamlico River, in Washington, North Carolina, and it's a beautiful place for water skiing. And since I couldn't stay completely drunk and stoned all the time, I really enjoyed water skiing. It was a great way to escape. Mm-hmm. It was a great way to release tensions. And, it gave me big muscles and stuff, so I could, and nobody would call me on my feminine part.
I see, yeah. Yeah, you look like you're in great shape on it. So it did. It was like your release. It was an exercise that you were good at too. I mean, it really does take quite balance. And you can't drink with that. You would have killed yourself. So it probably kept you away from the booze by just being out there.
While I was out there.
Yeah. So you
But
go.
Then we still drank beer and smoked pot when we were skiing.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I guess that's part of boating. It's not uncommon. Yes, they would say drunken sailors. They're not kidding. So you did this. You joined the Army at 25. You got married along the way to like one of these women from high school that seduced you, or did you find? I know you're.
No.
Oh.
The only one from high school that I ever found out anything about in later years had moved to Atlanta and moved in with her wife, his girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think she wanted to try a boy, but she didn't want one that was so macho and threatening,
Right. So she ended up with a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, you never
Maybe
know.
I was that bad. I don't know.
Well, it's so funny. No one's talking in high school, so who knows where anyone ends. But
yeah.
But
anyway,
you ended up then
25.
in 25. So what happened there? Were you married, just single? You went to San Diego, I know, and joined you joined the Navy, and you were there.
I joined the Navy and went to San Diego, and it was okay. I liked being in the Navy, all right, but eventually I got out in 1993, and got divorced. One kid, she came to live with me from age 14 to 26 here. And then she moved back to San Diego when she was 26.
I remember. So you had a wife.
33 now.
Okay, so you had a wife who was married when you were married to her when you were in the Navy. You were in the Navy about 7 years, right? And
Right.
you during this time, you were, were you out? Were you out presenting as a woman? What was going on during that period?
Um,
Because then you transitioned.
after I got out of the Navy
Hmm.
and got divorced, I went. It was time to transition. It was
I see.
1993. I was in Southern California, San Diego,
Hmm.
and I got a therapist at the GLBT Center in San Diego, Kurt Weiss, Kurtbuis. He saved my life. I've attempted suicide at least 4 times. Um, gosh.
So
And,
this
and
is
I could go
prior.
down
What this Kurt Weiss? I know you saved your life, and we never forget those counselors who save our life. I mean, or
Yeah.
therapists. They're crucial that you're still here today. But you when you said you tried to commit suicide, was this throughout your life 4 times, or was this just within this period of time when you were married and you just felt blocked and trapped?
no. Um, it was, I did very dangerous things and did things that appeared that I was trying to kill myself. I think I didn't care if I lived or died all those times. It was before I got married and joined the Navy. But after I got divorced and came out in San Diego, there was 4 suicide attempts in that because it was, I don't know how to explain it, but the depression and anxiety, the fear,
Mm-hmm.
everything was just too much. I couldn't get a job in the professions I knew, which were pipe welding and and jet airplane mechanic.
Yeah.
So nobody was going to hire me.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a job in Hillcrest, the gay part of San Diego, or what they call it, because gay men that worked in the stores and so forth and managed them didn't like transgender women.
Right.
So I ended up being a prostitute, a call girl from 93 to 95.
Yeah. Because you were looking to be able to work and still be your authentic self, which was a woman, a trans woman,
Yeah.
and there wasn't any the industry. I mean, the jobs weren't there for you. Obviously, this was
No.
a long time ago. Yeah.
But there's always plenty of horny guys that,
Yeah.
always had the fantasy of a transgender woman. We all know that, Lord.
Right. Yeah. So this is during the
So I
time
figured
period.
they're all there. They're an untapped resource.
Yeah.
And, there's millions of population here. I just put out some ads and make me some money.
Yeah, but is this when you were at your lowest, you think, in terms of your identity and
Oh, definitely. I was, in terms of depression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what a trade-off in life. You've been fighting with this, and this is what you felt like you needed to do. Did you feel like you could pass back then? I mean, I've seen pictures of you. You're a pretty woman.
I did pretty quickly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I was just lucky that way, I guess.
Well, I can see that. Yeah. I mean, so I know you've got a very long journey and we only have 30 minutes. I do want to, and I'll have you back, but I do want to say that so you're to kind of go through your dark low point of getting out of prostitution. What did you do after that? I mean, to be able to get out, did you?
Well, I was just so thoroughly defeated. I got Social Security disability insurance because, of course, I had been working. I'd been in the Navy. So.
Yes.
And I just moved back here to North Carolina.
Did you have any family back when you moved back there? Sisters or your mom?
No. I was divorced.
Yeah.
And they were, Dulcie, my ex-wife.
Yes.
And Julie, our daughter. had become Jehovah's Witnesses. They've
But
been
your
married
daughter
for-
was living with you then when you moved back. Your daughter, I know, you said, was about 14 and lived with you then for about 10, 11 years?
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
which was, I'm sure, helped you feel accepted, right? You were living as a trans woman with your daughter. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Julie had her moments, her hard time with it.
Mm-hmm.
She loved me, of course. We love each other. And she was trying to be accepting, but sometimes.
You went off
some
of hormones,
frustration.
right? I remember you were on hormones, and then when you had her live with you, you went off of them for a while out of respect for her
Yeah.
and still to maintain
I did.
her being her father, right? So when she finally left
Yeah.
after, 11 years or, 25 or so, went back with her mom to the West Coast, then you started back on in hormones again and
Oh, yeah.
I guess
Definitely.
kind of continuing your journey.
And during that time, I couldn't always live as, present as a man because my driver's license said female.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you had already transitioned. I mean, you had changed your identity, so
I
it
did
made
that
it
in
even more.
San Diego.
Right. So it was even more confusing for people. And I have to say, I know you dealt with your alcoholism and your drug addiction, and you've got, how much time do you have clean this time?
Over 500 days. I haven't looked at my app lately, but it was September 21st, 2018.
That's very good. Congratulations. If I had a chip for you, I'd
Thank
give it to
you.
you. I'll give you a chip on ear right now. So that's you
Well,
just
thank you.
keep at it. You'll be at sounds like a day at a time, as they say in the program. And your journey, your journey is one of hope and determination and I guess divine intervention too. And self-awareness.
Definitely.
Yeah, self-awareness. So, I'm going to have to wrap it up here, Louise. I'm going to have you back on at some point, and I just really want to say congratulations on putting together all those days and being where you are today. And I'll be back in touch, and I'm going to close out the show. But thank you for being on, and God bless you.
Terry.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. And I want to thank my audience today for joining us on Shades of Gender, the journey of gender identity. And thank you so much again. My name is Terry Ryan, and I'll see you next time.